Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Let me just dim this down a little bit here, guys. There's a fine line between the light being... There we go. Whoa, much better. Anyway, guys, welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And, folks, today I'm going to share with you a watch that I bought a couple years ago. And I just, you know, the thing with Invicta, here comes my big spiel. The thing with Invicta is they make so many different models, and it just never stops, right? So I bought this watch, the Venom, one of the many Venoms they make. I'd probably say maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. Battery still works. I always pull the crown to the #2 position, of course. Make sure the battery still works. Yeah, battery still works, which is a real indication of how little that I wore this watch. I saw this on a great special, and even now, the price has gone up quite a bit. You know, with Invicta stores, sometimes you get amazing deals like my newest acquisition. And because I just purchased that watch, I'm thinking about getting rid of this one. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do it yet. If I am going to get rid of this, I will put a link in the description by the time this video actually airs. But here it is right here. So this is, I don't know what the actual name of this. You know, a lot of times in Invicta, they come up with these, sometimes, you know, these different fusions or hybrids are constantly changing the names on things. You know, it wasn't good enough, and don't get me wrong, I love the brand, but it wasn't good enough that we had the Invicta Hybrid Venom, right? Which I never understood why it was called the Venom Hybrid, because most of the watch is from a sub-aqua specialty, okay? But anyway, they call it Venom Hybrid. Now they're changing it again to Venom Fusion, and it's just like, just pick a name for these watches and leave it alone, you know? It's the same thing they do with Reserve. So, like, if you go to their website and you look for this watch, it's a Venom, but it's not under Invicta Venom. It's under Invicta Reserve. So it gets really confusing for people to find these names. You're always safe with going with the model number, so here it is, 26654. Again, I picked this up because I didn't have a gold Venom. I wanted a gold Venom and ended up picking up a all mirror polished yellow gold original Venom with that rose tone bezel. If you guys have been following me for the last 10 years, you guys know probably about 7 years ago I picked up one of my very first Venoms. I think it was like my second maybe. One of my very first Invictas actually, maybe like in the first 5. And it was the original Venom, original design, done in a two-tone, what am I going to say, yellow gold and rose tone. That's my favorite color combination when it comes to a watch. It is just like above and beyond flashy. The only way to really outdo that is if by throwing some diamonds on it. But, you know, Invicta doesn't make a lot of those two-tone variations. You know, they make tons of different colors, tons of different watches, but not a lot in the yellow gold and rose tone. I could probably think of maybe 5 different models that they've done in that particular color combination. I do have a Invicta Grand Diver Automatic that I picked up in that color combination. I do have the Grand Arsenal that you cannot get anywhere. They haven't come back since I bought that watch. Really glad I got it. But they came out with the Venom Fusion, or the Venom Hybrid. And when that came out, probably about maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was in the $800 price range. Price fluctuated between 6 and 8, and I knew when I saw it that sucker was going to sell out. It's a Master Calendar, which is like my favorite Ronda movement. I mean, the Venom Hybrid. We're going to call it Hybrid because that's what it actually is. That's what they originally called that watch. It's still the Venom Hybrid. You know, that was, I mean, when that came out, man, I have a buddy. One of the guys you guys have watched before or chatted before with on some of the live feeds, Mandy Lion. He picked up the all stainless steel one. When that watch first came out, it was like when Invicta really, I mean, Invicta's always been like, you know, cutting edge and like above and beyond with the styles and designs. But when they came out with that one, it was like, holy shit. Like, I mean, it was so different. It incorporated like all the, you know, some of the great parts from watches I love, like the Sub-Aqua Noma 5. The bezel from the Venom 2, which it's funny, they never made the Venom 2 again. They just went right into Hybrid, and they never made it again. So I actually had one. I sold it because I did want to get the Hybrid more. So now there's all kinds of hybrids. It gets confusing. But anyway, long story short, I ended up wanting to get this watch. And now that I got this other watch coming in the mail, the Hybrid two-tone yellow gold and rose tone, I'm looking to maybe get rid of one of my Venoms. I still want to keep the silver one. I got this watch, then I have the mirror polished rose gold bezel, all yellow gold. I have the yellow gold blue face Hybrid, and there may be another one in there too. I don't really remember. But, you know, point being, you know, this one doesn't get a lot of wrist time. It's one of these watches that I picked up for probably because it was like a really great deal at the time, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get that. I've been wanting a yellow gold Venom, and I ended up, you know, getting other things along the way. And what happens a lot of times with Invictus, because they come up with so many different watches all the time, some of the watches we'll buy, we may at the time think that's like, oh man, I got to get it, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And then they come up with another watch that's even closer to what you're really looking for. It really speaks to you more. So you know how it is. I mean, with a lot of watches, we tend to, you know, some get more wrist time than others. That's the way it goes when it comes to collecting anything in volume. And so this one here just never got a lot of wrist time. I mean, it's a beautiful watch, and you know, this is kind of like a Bolt Venom like fusion sort of. You know, you have the classic Bolt cabling, which they've really done that on a lot of watches now. Really kind of a redesigned bezel with that particular you know, type of material with the braided cable. This one here, I wasn't really looking for something specific with gold and black. Although, you know, I do really like the gold and black, especially with the Pagani that I got. So, you know, I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm going to get rid of the mirror polished one or this one. We'll see. I was going to throw it on eBay today, but I just don't know. It's sold out pretty much everywhere. You can find it on eBay for about $230. If I do sell this, I mean, it's mint condition. I don't think there's any marks in it whatsoever. You know, sometimes we'll get a little mark on the cuff, that kind of thing, but I don't think there's any marks this thing whatsoever. It is mint. So this one, you know, I may get rid of, I may not, we'll see. I will let you guys know in the comment section if I do decide to let this one go. So far, the last couple days, in order to get the two-tone rose and yellow hybrid, I sold my Sea Hunter 2, which I have 5 Sea Hunters. That one never got any wrist time. Again, another watch, when I bought it, I wanted a rose and silver watch. You know, and I ended up getting that one because there wasn't a lot of Sea Hunters at the time in the full size, and I never really liked the rubberized bezel. You know, a lot of guys do. I think it's still a great looking watch, but I gravitate towards other watches instead. And then of course I sold my Invicta Thunderbolt, which I never wore the thing. Beautiful watch, for whatever reason, you know, and it has nothing to do with the cabling or anything like that. I just have, you know, you have so many watches, you tend to, you know, gravitate towards other ones, your favorites. And then, you know, I have so many gold watches that it's like, you know, you have one watch, they all start to get a little bit similar. So if I do sell one of these watches, I'm probably going to either put the money towards a SAR 2000 CZ75 clone, Byro. Or if I don't do that, I get another watch. I'm really eyeballing the blue and gold, the blue label. I think it's called blue label. New generation Sea Hunter. I don't have the new generation Sea Hunter or the newer generation. It really speaks to me. I really like the design, and I'm hoping it doesn't sell out before I get my hands on it. So pretty cool. So let's talk about this watch now that I got that out of the way, right? My spiel. All right. So as far as case diameter, you have a 52mm, 52.5 case diameter on this, like any other Venom. Pretty much everything about this watch is your standard original Venom, except what they've done is they've changed the back. So the back on this is more of the hybrid back, which is, I'll tell you that the hybrid backs, it's kind of one of my only complaints with comfort. It has a really sharp edge. And I know I'm kind of whining about this, but it's not a huge deal. But for my particular wrist, there's no other watches that really dig in quite like this watch and the Venom Hybrid. I'm sure the new one will be the same thing. I'll just have to man up and wear it, you know. But it does have kind of a sharp edge, and it does kind of dig in, where your standard original Venoms did not have a back like this. It had more of a rounded back. So I'm not sure what Invicta was thinking when they made this really sharp-edged case back, but if any of you guys have this, you probably know what I'm talking about. Now, if you have a little more meat on your body, if you're a heavier guy, you know, sometimes you have more fat around the, you know, on your body, of course, and around this ulna, I think it's called, the ulna bone, and you might have a little more cushion on that. For me, my wrist is kind of bony, 7-inch, you know, it really digs into that spot. So, you know, not the most comfortable thing in the world, but not something where it prevents me from wearing it. It's just something I think Invicta should really consider putting the original case backs on it, but again, not stopping them from selling thousands of watches, right? One of the other reasons I really like this is that it doesn't have an open heart, but it has one of your complications here, and I believe this is your second hand, I think. No, this is one of your, I don't even know how a chronograph really works, but I think it's your fraction of a second. Or maybe your minute hand, minutes, accumulated minutes. I'm not really sure. I don't, you guys know me. I pretty much don't know like anything about how the chronograph works. And I've said many times I'd rather watch this not be a chronograph, just be a regular Seiko NH35. But I mean, these are great movements. Don't get me wrong. This is the Z60, I believe, in this one. But I believe that is your minute calculations here. But I like it because when you turn this on, and hopefully you can see this. Let me screw down the crown here. When you activate the chronograph, it's got kind of like this bright red. Let's see, can you see it? Nah, you're going to have a hard time seeing it, but it's got this really bright red pointer on here that looks pretty cool. I do like the fact that the day of the week is kind of like another wheel instead of a standard like hand or like a dial with just a hand. I like that they changed it up a little bit on that. I think that's a much cooler look. And that's kind of why I gravitate towards this, because you have that large. Again, they could just simply put hands like most companies do, but they really make the dials unique. I mean, this one's a wheel. This one's kind of like a skeletonized wheel with a pointer. Pretty awesome. The Venom is a classic Invicta. Venom was my very first Invicta watch, so if you don't have one in your collection, I highly recommend you get one. But this is a gorgeous watch. I mean, you got everything going on here with the cabling. It's awesome. That's really the only difference. The case back and the bezel, and of course all the faces, depending on which model you go with, they're always going to be a little bit different, right? As far as the specifications, 316 stainless steel is plated in a 14 karat yellow gold. It says here luminous material on this new light. I'm not sure what that means. I've never heard Invicta use that before, but unidirectional rotating bezel, screw down crown, and function pushers. And the resistance on this is, let's see if Invicta lists here. Oops, got to show all details. I don't know why they list. They don't. Most of the Venoms they list. How can you not see? This is what annoys me. Invicta doesn't do itself any kind of justice when they pull shit like this. Put the water resistant. It's a dive watch company, guys. You guys claim all the time about the Anyway, it is listed here. I'm just joking. But it is listed here, but it's not listed in the specifications. It's listed in the description, but it does have 1,000 meters of water resistance. And I'm pretty sure all the Venoms, it's not most of them are every Venom I've ever had has that 1,000 meter, 3,000 feet, I believe, water resistance. So it's a tank of a watch. It's a beast, and like I said, if you don't have a Venom in your collection, this may be one for you. If I sell it, I just don't know yet. I'm not 100% sure. As far as the other specifications, the most important thing is 52.5 millimeters in case diameter. That is a bezel measurement. I'm not going to get into everything else, the complications. The movement is the Z60 FE by Ronda. Of course, it is a quartz. It is considered a Swiss movement. They just list on this watch. I think they don't list Swiss made on this watch. It's really interesting. Sometimes the Invictas will, even though they can list that, they don't. And some of the other watches I have that are in same model, same everything, same brand movement, they'll list Swiss made on it, and I don't see the difference. I know some of these movements are, some of them are Swiss made parts. Sometimes they're Swiss made movements. Maybe this particular movement isn't, but they have it listed in movement component Swiss, so I'm not 100% sure. It's really meaningless. If a company's making something of good quality, it doesn't really matter where it comes from, in my opinion. Thickness is pretty important. I don't see it listed here, but if I remember correctly, the thickness on these is 20. Always get the screw. I think it's 23 millimeters in case thickness. So it's one of Invicta's really thicker watches, but like I said, you guys know better than I do at this point. There are so many new models coming out. You're not getting Hydromax thick. I can tell you, like, your Grand Octanes are my old school 80s rolling ruler. Let me just double check that here. This is kind of rough. I really need to get a caliper, but you're looking at, God, man, I can't even see this thing. Yeah, I don't know. This thing is measuring just about 20 millimeters of thickness. Maybe I'm just thinking of something else, but still, like I said, just a super thick watch. And I like the crystal action on this has like a nice curve to it. And I believe all the Venoms have that, even the Venom Hybrid that I have. So I mean, it's a killer watch, guys. And if you don't have a Venom in your collection, definitely pick one up. So that's really about it, folks. Again, pricing on this one here, you can find it. It is listed on Invicta stores, but it is sold out. Last time they had it, it was $180 through Invicta stores. I'm going to throw this sucker on eBay if I do sell it for $199. I think that's a fair price for it. If it sells, great. If not, then, you know, it's not something I need to get rid of. It's just something I'd like to get something else. You know, I kind of like to flip them once in a while, and, you know, I'm not going to make any money on it, but, you know, at least put the money into something else. Sometimes I'll lose a little money and just, you know, get something new. It's always fun to get something new in your collection. So without further ado, let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. Now, I'm about 5'7.5". I weigh about 178 pounds, and I have a 7-inch wrist, so of course, this is what a watch like this looks like on a guy my size, my height, and my weight. You know, anytime you're getting involved in a 52mm watch, I mean, they're huge. You know, if you're, and I say that because if you're new to this channel, you've discovered this video, you haven't watched my other 1,300 videos, I don't know how many are Invicta or watches, there's so much stuff on here, but, you know, I mean, you know, us Invicta collectors, you know, we get a little desensitized where we start looking at 50mm, like, oh, it's not big anymore. And, you know, and I get it, a lot of the watches are kind of getting larger. Like, even look at, like, you know, Rolex, they're inching their size up, not like this, but, you know, they're jumping up, I think, to make 42, 43mm when they were smaller in the past. You know, other companies are doing the same thing. You know, they know that there's a real market for guys who like big watches. Of course, not everybody's going to like a watch this size or this. I mean, it is straight up gaudy, which is, you know, if you like that stuff like I do, I mean, it's definitely one for. See, every time I do a video like this and I'm like, yeah, I think about selling this one, and then I put it on, I have second guesses. I have been pretty good. I did sell 3 in the last month and allowed me to get other things. Again, you know, it's nothing against, you know, I know we'll have the haters on here being like, yup, he's changing his ideas, you let's get something else. No, I love the Invictas. Like I said, I got one coming in the mail. I just, I just, you know, like to get new things, and I don't really like to, if it's something I don't wear and I don't use, then I'm going to find a new home for it. It's just the way it is, you know, but I don't know if I'm actually going to sell this after, you know, I forgot about it. It's been in my safe, and after putting it on the wrist, it really is a stunner. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think about this watch. Let me know if you guys think you might be interested, and let me know if I should sell it. Of course, that is, you know, if you are looking to buy it, of course you got to tell me to sell it, but I don't know, we'll see. But I wanted to share with you guys again because it's been a while, and just in case I do end up getting rid of it, at least I'll have another video for you guys to say goodbye to such a stunning piece. Pretty cool. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. I do appreciate you guys taking the time as always to spend these 18 minutes with me. I swear to God, time just flies when I'm doing these videos. I try to shorten them up, but I'm always getting past that 15-minute mark. So anyway, if you stuck around, I do appreciate it. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. I'm always here to help you guys out. Let me know if you guys have this, or if you want to get this, or if you have any experience with this brand. You know, I get comments every single day with guys who are discovering the brand and thanking me for it. And definitely check it out, guys. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Subscribe to the channel and take care.